All right, so we're going to start this round with a lightning round. We're going to ask Rayna some questions, get to know her really, really quick. Rayna, first question. You ready? How much does a polar bear weigh?
Come on now.
Fat.
Enough to break the ice.
Killing me.
She's never heard that pickup line. That's good.
No, I haven't. Good joke.
My turn?
Yeah.
That was a joke. That wasn't even a question. I don't have anything that clever. I wouldn't sit here writing this down ahead of time.
That's breaks the job.
Ask
All right,
me.
we know you're married. You have kids?
Yes.
Okay. Worst job you ever had?
Working at an old folks retirement home in the dining room.
Ooh, what was the worst part about that job?
When the old people would poop in their pants in the dining room and leave it like little deer poop trails in the.
And we know from last week that no amount of money would make that okay.
That's
That's
right.
exactly right. Exactly
Husband
right.
or old people.
But hey, if it's a trail, at least it's solid, right?
You can't lose them.
No, not always.
No.
Okay.
Cats or dogs?
Neither.
Okay. Where's your happy place?
Outside somewhere
Okay.
in the woods. I don't know.
Last meal.
Rice and something.
Dream big.
I'm that attentive.
All right.
Oh wait, no, you were talking about if I died. I thought you meant
Yeah,
what
well,
I
like
just
this
ate.
is your final, like
Dream.
the best of, not what you had last.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably some
I just thought that
ramen.
was a really sad last meal.
Dreaming big. I need some ramen.
Communion, real wine or grape juice?
Ooh.
Real wine because it's good for the stomach. Go for it.
Oh, very good.
Jump in.
All right. Yeah. Where did you meet your husband?
You know that answer. Online on a video game called World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
All right. That's unique. We don't have that one every day. World
no.
of Warcraft brought us together.
And that
From
kind of
different states.
segues
different blocks of
perfectly into our
lore.
conversation today, which is one life experience, one strange life experience
Yeah.
can change the course of your life forever. You just never know.
All right, so we're getting into this. Now we're starting to get into these puzzle pieces here, right? Life experiences. We like to start with the heavy stuff. I like it better. It helps break the ice quicker, but it's a little bit more.
Like a polar bear.
Exactly. It's a little bit more uncomfortable, but Rayna, you can do it. You're champ. You have no problem sharing all your dark secrets with the world.
Or all 72 of our followers.
Yes. Either way, you're good, right?
Yep.
All right, this is going to be good. So the reason why this is one of the puzzle pieces we need to pay attention to in the process of deciphering specific callings is that oftentimes in life, our greatest pains or most positive experiences foreshadow things that we might get into, right? One phrase goes, past pains foreshadow future passions, whatever. It's a lot of times we see there's a redeeming value in what we've experienced on this earth in a negative way and how we end up repurposing it in a positive way and really have a passion to do so. At the same time, the positive life experiences also tend to shape us, and we have almost something we want to pass on or pass down, something that was modeled so well for you that you want to make sure that you model that for others. So in studying this piece, we actually can learn quite a bit about ourselves. So we're going to jump right into it with you, and we'll start with the positive. So as you look back on your life and you're thinking about experiences that stand out to you, things that were really meaningful to you. They could have been places you went to. They could have been relationships you had, either in the family unit, friends at school, maybe awards you won or things you accomplished, things that you look back on and say, wow, these are some fond memories I have, or a cool moment that's going to stay with me forever. What are your positive life experiences?
I would definitely say the first thing that came to mind was camping and going on family trips, driving from Texas to Colorado in a big van. And back then we didn't have to have seatbelts, all sleeping on the floor in the van. I don't know. So camping, going on family hiking and snow skiing and doing those kinds of trips together. And also video games, actually. From when I was really young, we all played video games together. Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers and GoldenEye and all those things. And They're all co-op games, right? So they're all 2 or 4 player. The more the better. And we would invite all the people from the neighborhood over, and all these silly stinky guys would be over at our house and playing games and LAN parties and different things. Just our family was a family of gamers, and so that really was kind of led to positive experience memories for me. Hence why I guess I met my husband on a video game, and here we are.
So some of the things that camping and video games have in common. Do you see any common theme between those two?
Experiencing new things, working problems together. I'm not quite sure. Adventuring together, I guess.
Okay.
In a video game, you kind of adventure. You race to the top of the hill to see who can get there faster, and you defeat people in video games.
Just the idea
competing.
of together.
Yeah.
Right, doing whatever you're doing together. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What about middle school, high school? What stands out to you? Positive experience.
Not me, because I was short.
Oh no.
Always
that's
have
true.
been.
Okay.
No, yeah. I don't have any real memorable things from middle school. I was in band. Not memorable.
Is it because you sucked at band, or what was
no,
it that
I
was not memorable?
First chair all the time,
Oh.
but it just, I don't know. It's not my thing. High school, I was in choir and ROTC, which was a weird mix. Don't try that at home.
Okay.
But I enjoy the ROTC crowd.
So band, choir, ROTC, video games. No friends, I'm guessing?
No, I had friends. I've never really been a person for really close friends, so didn't have sleepovers and stuff. But I definitely had many types of groups of friends. So I was friends with every group of people.
Okay.
I would kind of go in between every group and have friends, and I was not a boundary person. You smell, so I'm staying away from you kind of person.
Okay.
I made friends with everyone.
Have a big family?
Yes.
Were those friends?
Yes,
Okay.
that's a detail. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. Yes, I think we're all 9 years. All 6 kids were had in 9 years. So that's quite a feat for mom. But so we were all really close. So we all wrestled and played. And so just the idea of not having fake boundaries between each other was always real for me. Always being in close proximity, always being real. So I think that's why I always try to make people be real.
Okay.
You win any awards growing up?
Attendance.
You got the attendance? You were that kid, huh?
I was that kid.
Was it?
I was there. I might not have done good, but I was there. Dang it.
Okay, so all right. I got the Grumpy Award in middle school.
In high school?
That is so fitting.
Middle
And
school. No, they could
last
have given it to me. They still could. I get it. I kind of have a RBF thing going on before there was RBF, and now I'm whatever. So okay, attendance award. Congrats.
Thanks.
Congrats.
A little late.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's switch over to the negative side of things. And when you look back, same kind of question, and you're looking at things that were difficult, that were challenging, that were times or pockets in your life where there was just adversity. What are some negative life experiences that stand out to you?
Well, as I said, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. There's 2 girls, 2 boys, and then 2 girls. And my parents, we growing up, I never saw them fight. I never saw any negative outward signs of a bad family. I don't think anyone did. But on the interior of things, my dad somehow, don't know how it got there, but was sexually molesting my 3 older sisters for many years. And nobody knew, not even, obviously not my mom. And when that all came out, it just broke. It broke my mom. It broke, all of our family. I mean, we were all still together, aside from my dad. He went to jail for, I think, 8 or 10 years. So I basically never saw him after that. And that was, I think, when I was around 3rd grade. So we moved a couple times, moved in a house of my grandparents, and all of us were actually homeschooled up until then, I'm pretty sure. And that actually triggered putting us into public school because my mom then had to work. So that was a real awkward change for everybody. I was fine because I was in 3rd grade, but that was a real weird shift for everything. But somehow, through it all, I don't remember feeling anything negative. Like I said, I never saw any fighting. I didn't know what was happening. I wasn't really told anything for a good reason. And I don't know why he went to jail. You know, I didn't know where he was really. I didn't ask him any questions thinking about it. And so I didn't know any of the negative. And so I was kind of in this bubble of I wasn't abused, and I had 5 siblings who were definitely affected by that. And I was somehow in this bubble where my mind and my body were all kept pure in what way or another. And so I kind of went through this life like seeing my family in wreckage and being the one to reach out to them and lift them up and encourage them and play and be playful and still have a childlike attitude where that was taken away from the rest of them, and to still have a rosy outlook on life. So I guess kind of what you would say ignorance is bliss, but I definitely see the Lord protecting me in so many ways from so many things that could have happened in all of that. The negative side of all that is that I didn't have a father figure speaking into any area of my life.
Did your mom remarry at some point? Or
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, she is now, but that was...
But not while you were growing up.
10 plus years of being single with no boyfriends. And so I had no men, no father figure, no leader really speaking into my life and at any point and telling me what they see in me or what I could do or asking me questions about myself. So I just kind of lived many years up until recently, I guess, in this just kind of vacuum of I'm not thinking about who I really am. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do. There's nothing. I'm just being, and I'm living in the moment and being, positive as I can to people. But I don't have any direction. I have no goals. I have no purpose, plan. I've got no 10-year plan kind of thing. It was just, I didn't really think about it.
Right. Well, one, I want to say thank you for having the courage to share stuff like that, because that's deep, that's real, and I think ultimately helpful to those that are listening and watching, because a lot of people don't want to go there, right? A lot of people can have some things in their life that they'd rather not ever think about again. It's still impacting them, but they don't give it any attention or thought. And when that happens, it's difficult to repurpose anything or see it redeemed, because you've tried to sever that from your life and pretend it's not there when you can't do that. It's there. And so what I hear in your story is I do hear a lot of grace in that exactly as you described. Man, it's being the youngest, being protected and shielded from that. It's almost like, you are able to still be a joy, a light to your family through their darkness, and through some of that stuff. So I imagine, you grew up going to church, so I imagine that had to have some impact on the way at least your siblings and your mom potentially related to God. I mean, how did that go? I mean, you were all church family beforehand, and then post this coming to light, you maintained your faith. What about everybody else, and how was that for you? Was that...
Well, my parents were on the worship team, so that made it even more of a doozy. And I wouldn't say that it caused them all to lose their faith at that point, but something definitely shifted in the boys. And my 2 oldest sisters went on mission trips. Still went on long DTS mission trips for a while. But I don't know. It's made it really rocky. It's made it really confusing, and one of them has kind of gone the other way. But 2 of them circled back around circle the way and circle back around. And one is yet to circle around. But it definitely made them have a lot of obstacles in a lot of areas to overcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what other things, as you look back, any other life experiences that you felt like shaped you negatively or positively at this point? And it's okay, you don't have to go into a lot of detail, but just whatever comes to your mind. Like this was a cool moment, this was a cool friendship, or something we experienced even post high school now.
Well, there's a lot post high school. Meeting my husband on World of Warcraft, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
I moved since I graduated. I moved to a couple of different places, and with my aunt at one point, with one of my sisters at another point. And those different relationships kind of impacted me for those seasons. So I definitely see the Lord kind of moving me as like a chess piece, to have me in a place that I needed to be in at that time. I think maybe just the freedom I was given to figure things out at that time I was in. Each time I think was really a big thing for me. To be able to be free and be creative. And I wrote a lot of songs, wrote a lot of music, played guitar. I wrote a lot of songs during that post-high school time of figuring things out.
In the first episode, you talked about a calling being something you can't get away from. And like just a couple of these themes throughout your life that you can't get away from. They seem to keep coming back up. And I was going to ask, like, did you go into the Army after ROTC? Or did you keep on with band or choir? And it sounds like you kept up with some of those maybe, but
no, I never planned on going in the military. The only reason I joined ROTC was because my sister was in it, and so I already had a great friend base in there. So when I got in high school, I just joined it because the people. Never planned to go in the military, never did. But I sing, always have, and I lead worship. So I definitely see leading worship as as a calling. I don't know all of my callings, but it has been and still is a calling right now for me.
Yeah. Sing coming in here, so
yeah.
Always.
Check out our mixtape.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what you do with this. And if you're listening and you're sitting here and you're thinking through your own life experiences, you got to pretend like you don't know anything else about yourself but those life experiences. In fact, that's why it's helpful when you're going through the Purpose Project to go through it with somebody else who can look at you objectively and all that kind of stuff. So if we didn't know anything else about you, and right now people listening, most of them don't, all they know is what you shared from your positive and negative life experiences. And we're talking about this idea of what that might foreshadow for your future. I'll throw out a couple of things that I heard, that I see, and then Zach, if there's anything that you see, you throw out there too. One is... firstly, on the negative side of things, I could see you becoming somebody who is a counselor of sorts to folks who have either been victims of abuse or come out of really hard home situations, only because you have been up close and personal and seen the way that abuse impacts your brothers and sisters, your family members. And so it'd be natural for you to, not only because you have a deeper understanding of that issue and probably a greater empathy and compassion for that area, to move into something like that. I also heard, though, on the same token, on the positive side of things, when you're talking about your family getting together, you're talking about community, even what you just said with ROTC, joining the group because there was already a friend base there. Relationships are so big for you. They mean a lot to you. They are life-giving to you, and I think it sounds like you're life-giving to those as well. As you talked about, just kind of, being the goofball or the whatever in the family that you can come lighten, the mood of sorts when you walk into places. So I picture things like community, relationships, encouraging people. Those are things that I think are key aspects that I'm looking at just your life experiences and saying this has to play a big part in what might be coming for you. Zach, anything stand out to you?
Yeah, thinking generally, I mean, I see community as a thread from the van rides to Colorado to friend groups. And all throughout that thread, maybe you taking on the burdens of others and bringing others joy in its place. And so mentor, counselor, those different types of fields where you're able to help other people through their mess. Bonus content, if you go and take a test called the Enneagram, my bet right now is you're on type 8, which is like their whole heart cry is to alleviate the pains of others and take people on adventures and tell jokes, do whatever they can to help those people out of that situation. And then, of course, I mean, like choir and band and just knowing you play music, like that being a more specific calling and another way to love people and help them out of the situation they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also it's worth noting, and although we only touched on it briefly in this episode, you mentioned your relationship with God and how you've been able to maintain that through all the ups and downs throughout your life. So as I look forward into, what may be coming, I see ways in which you can leverage that faith you have in God. What does that look like in context with community, relationships, maybe people that are in pain and hurting, that kind of thing. And so that's a great place to kind of pause. And I know a lot of people are like, all right, let's move on to the next one. Well, you got to keep building one piece at a time. And the next piece that we're going to discuss is we're going to layer in something called spiritual gifts, right? Which is, for the Christian, something that we're familiar with and maybe don't know a whole lot about. And for someone who doesn't come from a church background, they get weirded out by that idea. And I just want to say, listen, if that's uncomfortable to you, you can skip. This is the one this next episode is the next one that I give you permission to skip. And you don't have to be weirded out by it. But if you are curious about it, then I think ahead of time you should go to spiritualgiftstest.com and go ahead and take it and read about the idea of spiritual gifts. But if you don't, no harm, no foul. We're going to go into that next time and layer that onto this puzzle piece of life experiences. Yeah.
Hey, real quick on this one, I think, so for me, when I did this the first time, unpacking some of the stuff that I'd stuffed and compartmentalized for so long was really difficult. And I think that's a lot of people's case. Some people identify the positive more quickly. Other people identify the negative like right off the bat. And it's hard to get down to the positive. So this step right here can take some time. And I think it is really helpful to be able to unpack with other people. So find somebody you're close to, or if somebody's unpacking some of these things and they're really uncomfortable, you can always reach out to us, either on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. And we'd love to be there to support and fight through some of those things with you.
Absolutely. And in fact, Zach, you share your life experiences in the Purpose Project videos that we have online. So through that course, we actually go through your pieces and kind of define that. So that's another great example that you might kind of lean on and go take a look at to get a feel for how this part works. So
now let's go to superpowers.
Let's do it. I'm ready. All right. Good job, Rayna. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That was the swankiest dab I've ever seen.